Well, good morning to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from rainy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are fired up and ready for a fantastic hump day. I would like to call myself a brain changer. When I go to speak at my children's school on career days, and they ask what your occupation is, I always like to mess with the staff by saying I'm a brain changer. And I'll prove it if you come into the kids' room. I'll change your brain before you leave here. A brain changer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to shed light on the number one reason why people lose in this life. The number one reason that people lose in this life. And by losing, let me define that very specifically. When there's something in your heart and in your mind that you can believe is possible for you, even if there's just an inkling of hope that it is possible for you to achieve, to become, to have, or to do, okay? Even if there's an inkling of hope, and you truly desire that very strongly to see that come to pass, and yet you have not obtained who you are becoming, what you are doing, or what you are having, it's not even on the radar because you failed to execute starting. It is largely because of this number one factor, and it is fear. But fear of what, you would say, Steve? Fear of failure. You failed. How you interpret that and the story you tell yourself about it, which by the way is largely subconscious, will determine whether you win or lose in this life. It will determine how you show up every day. Are you showing up playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? Are you going all in with everything you have, or are you doing just enough to get by? Are you like that bottle of vitamins that has a label on the back? Do you have a label on your neck that says minimum daily requirement? When I go to work, I give my minimum daily requirement. When I go to work, I just give my minimum daily requirement, because if I do more, they might expect more from me, and they don't pay me enough as it is. If they pay me more, I would do more, but no. I'm going to give my basic minimum daily requirement. It ain't even a requirement when you suck that bad. It's a requirement. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you that person without knowing it? Do you show up in life, in your marriage, in your relationships, in your parenting, in your physical life, your spiritual life, your financial life, your career? Do you show up playing to win? Or are you playing not to lose? Are you doing just enough to get by? You failed. You failed. This statement and what follows it in your mind determines whether or not you will begin to execute taking action towards what you believe is possible for you. So my desire today is acknowledging that if statistics continue to prove themselves, 98% of you are not on a highly clear path of execution and tasks leading you towards a ridiculously clear goal. 98% of you. If 100 people watch this video, I know statistically 98% of you are walking dead. And that's not meant to be ugly. That simply means that you are walking this earth in a habit, in a pattern, like a zombie, just moving through the motions, taking care of your daily minimum requirement, and you are playing not to lose, doing just enough to not fail miserably. You're truly not engaged in playing to win, and it's likely because, unfortunately, Zig Ziglar would say, are you a wandering generality, or are you a meaningful specific? Do you have a very clear goal and outcome? So here's the story I would like to give you today in relation to how we interpret this. Most people's inability to get past the conversation in their mind, but what if I fail? But what if I fail? Sugar pie, honey, plum. You gon' fail. you gon' fail. Let's just put it that way. You will fail. You are going to fail. The path to mastery is littered with the bodies of those who not only fail, because failure is part of the deal, but those who quit. Your goal and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to not quit on the path to mastery, moving towards what you are attempting to achieve and become, so that you can be, do, and have more than you are, do, and have today. So what is the key factor? It is interpreting and redefining you failed. You failed. So let me say what Zig Ziglar said. Failure is an event. It's not a person. Lesson number 1. Failure is an event. It's not a person. People equate failure with themselves. I am a failure. And then I will feel bad, and I will be tempted to grab my blankie and my thumb and start sucking my thumb and crying because I failed. Most people are very, very, very fearful of failing because they do not want to feel bad about themselves, and they do not want others to look at them as failures and judge them. You fail. What you say to yourself after that is huge, and my desire today is to equip you with what to say before that, so that you're prepared with what to say when you do fail, should you choose to embark on the journey of personal growth and personal development to become all that you are potentially able to become, and not just like that label on the vitamins that my minimum daily requirement, where you are playing not to lose instead of playing to win because of lack of clarity. Are you a wandering generality or a meaningful specific? Do you have a clear end goal and game for what you're moving towards? So how can you and I open this discourse about redefining failure and you failed? Allow me to share a couple of insights. Insight number 1, there is no failure. There is no failure. Put that in your pipe, light it up, and take a deep toke on that. There is no failure. You remember us talking before that there's no meaning to any situation except the meaning you attach to it. What do you call it? What you call it is what it is for you, baby, because that's your perception and interpretation. I used the example in the past, my son opening the door for one lady at Starbucks, and she was like, "Thank you, son. You're so kind. You're such a gentleman. You're so chivalrous." He did it a month later, and a girl said, "You don't need to hold the effing door open for me." Same situation, a boy opening a door, 2 completely different people told themselves a different story about the situation. There is no meaning to any situation, except the meaning you attach to it. I give you this, there is no failure. There's only feedback. There is no failure, there's only feedback. It is like a mathematical equation on the chalkboard of a first grader that says 1 + 1 = 3. Okay, that ain't right. That's just not, that doesn't add up. 1 + 1 does not equal 3, right? So we erase it and we get it right. 1 + 1 = 2. There's no failure, there's only feedback. There's the outcome. What's at the end of the equal sign? Steve, I got into real estate because I watched HGTV and I saw them pretty cars and fancy watches and houses, and I know I could do that because I know I'm going to succeed in real estate because I love houses and people. Hold on, I'm going to do what Thumper's mom said. Let me gather myself. If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all, Steve Collins. Loving houses and people is not going to make you successful in real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry. And they try, and they try, and they try to show up at the office, eat the donuts and drink the coffee and go to the classes, and never execute. They don't lead generate 2 to 3 hours a day. They don't master their scripts and dialogues. They don't study overcoming the most simple and yet legitimate objections that people have. Well, I think my house is worth $500,000. Well, the numbers show it's worth $225,000. Let's have a talk about that. They don't do that. They just show up and hope it's going to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you see the result is they're broke? Is that failure? Well, if their goal was to sell homes, then the feedback is what you are doing on this side of the equal sign is not working. So let's just go change the numbers on this side of the equal sign. Okay? If the result I am receiving is not the result I am intending, then I go back to my actions and activities to determine what needs to change for me to get a different outcome. There is no failure. There's only feedback. I'm getting feedback that isn't in alignment with what I'm attempting to accomplish. So therefore, I'm just going to go change the process. Here's the mindset I want you to have if you're a mother or a father and you've had a child. I want you to go back in the theater of your mind to that day that will always be embedded and imprinted in your spirit of the day your child took their first steps. I want you to go back with me in the theater of your mind to wherever it was when you sat across from one another holding tubby little Johnny, and Johnny kept falling again and again and again, falling again and again and again. You know, I want to ask you, at what point did you guys look at each other, throw your hands in the air and go, that's like the 50th time Johnny failed. I guess walking just isn't for Johnny. Just lay on the floor, Johnny. Walking's just not for you. You obviously don't know how to do it. Was that your attitude, ladies and gentlemen? I think not. Your attitude was, come on, buddy. Let's get back up and let's do it again. Come on, little Johnny. You got it. Come on, buddy. That's okay. Pick yourself up. Dust yourself off. Let's do it again, baby. Let's do it again. You're going to get this. You're going to get this. Come on, buddy. Because you knew he would get it if he kept practicing. May I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, whatever your name is. Come on, Matthew. Come on, Scott. Come on, Ricky. Come on, Angela. You got this. You can do this. Come on, buddy. Get up. Dust yourself off. Do it again. Do it again. Don't quit. The only way you lose this thing is if you quit. Okay, don't quit. Surround yourself with people who have gone there before. Get some ideas from them. And here's the magic bullet, y'all. Do it. Put it into practice. There are broke, highly educated, formally educated derelicts who are forever learning and never executing. Are you playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? Are you giving your minimum daily requirement, or are you giving your maximum daily effort? If you find yourself on the side of the equation fearful to take action, it's likely because your interpretation of failure has to do with how you see yourself and seeing yourself as a failure, and not seeing failure simply as feedback, as an outcome that you did not intend and that you expected something different from. And so many people, for fear of failure, will find themselves in overanalysis paralysis, always gaining information and always preparing, but never taking action. How can I help you this morning? There is no failure, there's only feedback. And failure, as Zig Ziglar said, is not a person, it's only an event. And if you picture what you're going to do the way you pictured the grace, excitement, and enthusiasm you may have towards a little baby learning to walk, and the encouragement that baby gets, even if the baby falls down 1,000 times, you never give up and say, I guess walking just isn't for little Johnny, he keeps failing. No, ma'am. No, sir. You realize that if you put in the time and the effort and the energy that your goals require, you will receive the reward. All hard work leads to a profit. It's that simple. You failed. Learn to say what I say when I think about failure. I think, oh, baby, I am so excited about this. I just learned another way that didn't work. Let me try something different. Man, I just learned another way that didn't work. Let me try something different. Whoa, that really didn't work. Let me try something different. And I enjoy the adventure of discovering the way that it does work, knowing that the path is laden with ways that it didn't work. I end with this simple story. Thomas Edison, when he had finally invented the light bulb, was interviewed by the news reporters, and he had failed 10,000 times, they said. They came to Thomas Edison and said, Mr. Edison, after all those years, how did you keep going when you failed over 10,000 times in creating the light bulb? And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. See, that was their interpretation. I didn't fail 10,000 times. I discovered 10,000 ways it didn't work. See, I was just getting to the way that worked. How do you interpret failure? How you choose to talk to yourself about it will determine whether you win or lose in this life. Have a talk with yourself. Have a great day, guys.